So, Ray, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it. It's fight week. There's been a few changes to the card. How excited are you now that it's fight week?
Well, this excitement started back in June when we first had PFL 1 at the Madison Square Garden, and I got to say that all the fighters that are fighting in the heavyweight and featherweight division set the bar for everybody else to follow in terms of coming out and looking to finish and earning points to get to the playoffs, to get to the championship. So I think it's been great, and the light heavyweights and the lightweights and the middleweights and the welterweights, they've seen what PFL did in terms of the heavyweights and featherweights, and they responded. And I think being that it's the last opportunity for these guys to earn more points to get to the playoffs, I think it's just going to be a lot more exciting come Thursday night.
Were there any fighters that surprised you with their performance so far this season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the two fights that really stand out is actually it's Ray Cooper, who fought Jake Shields, and Pavel Kush, who defeated Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov. Now, I knew those were going to be tough fights, but I didn't realize you never know until it happens, right? And the outcome of those fights, it really kind of made those two guys stand out now. And so, listen, PFL, it's one of you never know what could happen. We say this all the time about the fight game, but it's really true. You match certain fights and you think, okay, this fight's going to be a great fight, and then it comes down and it lives up to expectations and everything else. And again, I was very pleased with every card, to be honest. The featherweights and the heavyweights set the bar at Madison Square Garden. The lightweights and the light heavyweights responded in Chicago, and then the welterweights and middleweights are like, hey, we can do that and more. And so that's exactly what happened, and I think it's just going to get better and better and better.
Like I mentioned earlier, there have been a few shakeups for this card already. Are you able to relax now? And how does that process work for a season like this?
Well, there's never a time to relax, and I can tell that goes not just for me, but also our whole team, because we literally have a show back to back, and so it's go go go. That being said, listen, I like being on my toes. I feel alive when I'm on my toes, and so I think after every show, there's a couple of days where you kind of tailor down a little bit in terms of what goes on, but other than that, everything it's a go go go. And so, I mean, it's just like the fighters. All these guys, after every show, they're gonna go home and relax for a few days, and before you know it, they're back in the gym because they're fighting 6-7 weeks later. You know what I mean? So it's the same all around.
Do you think this format kind of leads to the most exciting fights because there's more pressure on each fight because it means something?
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, if you've seen the last 3 shows, I mean, that's what explains it. The show explained itself. The fighters have come out and just show the world that, 1, they love being part of PFL. 2, they all want to win their $1 million at the end of the season, and 3, they all want to become world champions. I mean, that's the reason why I got into sports, into martial arts, and was to become a world champion. And so the goal is the same for every single guy that's on every card. And again, we've said this time and time again, the guy that starts off the night as the first fight in the night is exactly the same as the guy that's last on the card. There's no prelims, there's no main card. Every fight matters in the season. And so it's, for the fans, they really have to tune in to kind of get an idea of who's where, because it can change every show. It can change. You know what I mean? So it's exciting, and that's the excitement. The excitement factor of what PFL is that you never know what could happen. One guy could be suspended, one guy could be injured, one guy could get knocked out, one guy could get submitted. There's so many variables that makes the whole PFL season exciting.
speaking of all the variables and things never seen before, it's the first season. So
Right.
obviously there's been amazing things happening.
Right.
There's also things you probably want to change. Or have you noticed some things you've gone, all right, season 2, this is going to change?
I don't think so far I haven't seen anything that's going to change. What I've just witnessed is that there's some things that probably need to be added on.
Can you expand on that?
What that is, I can't really, because I haven't really discussed it with the team yet, so I can't really go into it. But there are a couple of things that was brought to my attention that I think are good points, and it can only help, further the way the structure is right now.
And we're here for the featherweights and the heavyweights. What went into the matchmaking? So you have round 1, and now how do you make the matches for round 2? And do you ever think we'll get to the point where, like recently, like the World Cup, the matches ahead of time for like the first round, you got your 2
Right.
2 fights in the regular season, those fights, and then you go ahead on the standings. Do you see anything like that coming?
Yeah, no, that's actually, it's exactly the way when the playoffs, after the 2 regular season fights, the playoffs, all the fighters will be seated in the way their points end up. So the guy that has, let's say, 12 points because he's won by first round submission or first round knockout in the regular season, will fight the guy that has the less points, which will probably, let's say, they win by decision in 2 fights, so that'll be 6 points. So 12 will face, 8 will face 1, 7 will face 2, 3 will face 4. So so that's how it will pan out.
But for the regular season, the second matchup wasn't made until after the first regular
Correct,
season.
yes.
How do you go about that process?
Just depending on who won, who lost, how they match up. You know what I mean? So it's just, again, it can't be done until the first round of the when they've all fought their first regular season fight.
And talking about someone who's going to be in the regular season next year, I believe Kayla Harrison.
Well, right now I don't think we're going to go into. Kayla Harrison, I think she needs a little bit more experience, as we all know, and she's probably the first one that has told us. So 2019, we won't actually have a division for Kayla. That being said, we are definitely going to have a lot more female fights. We're talking about a few things that we probably would add on. Again, I can't go too deep into it because we haven't fully finalized that yet. But Kayla's definitely going to be, fighting 2 more fights this year, and probably 3 or 4 fights next year. Yeah.
I thought you mentioned last time that there was there a change that there isn't going to be a women's division next year? I thought that was the plan.
We've decided to. We've after looking into it, we've decided to kind of postpone it a little bit and look at 2020 for a women's division.
And do you? I heard Kayla's next fight. The date of it is that accurate?
Yes. Well, the date's not 100% finalized. It's either we're trying to confirm her for the 16th, August 16th, but we're still kind of waiting to see if that's possible. But she's 100% confirmed for August 30th. Put it that way.
Do you have an opponent picked out yet?
We have a couple. Matter of fact, we have 4 different opponents, and so just waiting on Kayla's camp to make a final decision on which way we go with those opponents.
What can we see not only for the featherweights and heavyweights? Do you have anything you want to say about what we'll see for the rest of the regular season and what we can expect in the playoffs?
Again, everybody's up for their second regular season fight, and I think, especially the guys that have lost their first regular season fights, which then, by losing you don't earn any points, and so I think for those guys is a do or die kind of situation where they got to come out and finish. You know what I mean? And so, which again, it makes for exciting fights and exciting TV. In terms of the playoffs, I don't see, so far we've seen some great fights, and I think for the playoffs it just gets better because the stakes are higher, the prize money is higher. So I think everybody's going to come out and really put it on the line in terms of trying to get to that $1 million at the end of the year.
And those are my questions. How I like the interviews is I want to give you the final word. Whatever you want to say, it's up to you. Message for fans, fighters, anyone out there, it's all yours.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to thank all my fighters for PFL because I think they really saw what what our vision is. They really have come out and fought their hearts out. They've come out and put everything on the line, and I think they're going to continue to do that. So a huge thank you to all my fighters at PFL. To the fans, every fight matters. So it's really important to tune in and watch these guys' journeys through the regular season, playoffs, and to the championship, and to the $1 million. So tune in and enjoy the show.